Hey folks, welcome to Market Technical Analysis by InTheMoneyStocks.com for Monday, October 1st, 2007. Well, October got off with a bang today, with the indexes all flying higher on a solid rally across the board, guys. And we saw the NASDAQ climb about 40 points, the Dow climb about 190, and the S&P climbed about 20 points. And this was a solid rally overall. And before we get into the analysis, I just want to make sure everyone's aware that within 2 weeks we're having our first webinar course coming up, and that's a seminar done online where we will go over all the technical analysis that is used to analyze charts and to find the picks that you'd want to go into based on technical patterns, on all the technical indicators, on candlesticks, and volume level 2, and so forth. So I encourage everyone who's interested to really learn this stuff to come sign up on InTheMoneyStocks.com, look under webinars, you'll see the dates, and it's very inexpensive for what it's going to be, and we hope you come and join us. Okay, getting right into the market here, guys. This is the ES chart. This is the ES chart, and we can see right here that we overall today just had short squeeze after short squeeze, and there really until the end of the day was no major pullback or even small pullback. And what do I mean by that? Well, literally at 9:30 we started to squeeze. Alright, and there's a lot of shorts still left in this market. And we've been talking about the varying neutral status right here in between. Below that 1505 marker is the breakdown, and up to the highs in the market on the S&P is the breakout level. So as long as we stay in this pattern, as we approach that higher end, we look for a possible breakout in this market. Now there are some things that are worrying us, and I want to first go over the intraday chart here. And right here on the bell at 9:30, we saw this just giant move up. One candle, two candles, small pullback, then three candles higher. And this was a very substantial move up because you're basically looking at 1540 on the ES futures here, all the way to 1550 in a matter of 40 minutes. That's a substantial move. Then you saw a little consolidation and another squeeze. Alright, a little consolidation here and another squeeze higher. And then by the time we got to around 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock, we really topped out up here. And again, I want to just point to this candle right here. Alright, notice here the tail on the top making the new high, and the candle closes in the lower area of the candle. Alright, the lower 30 to 25% of that candle signals a pullback coming, and what you do is you wait for a break of that low of that candle. So on this candle here, a break of 1559 signals a short play, and you sell that right into it, and look at the little gain you get all the way down here before you get a little push up and then a small pullback into the close. So overall, it was a solid move up today, and as we enter the new quarter, we can look for some interesting things. Now, notoriously, October has been a tough month for the market, and we're curious to see exactly what happens in this month, because overall, we're seeing some very interesting things going on here. And I don't want to borderline use that word irrational exuberance, but when we look at C, and this is Citigroup today had horrible news at the open, right before the open actually, pre-market. And you saw it gap down, and you can even see it open down at $46. But the market does not care. Simply put, the market does not care. And we always talk about how really the charts tell the truth, and how it's really hard to analyze how the market will react to news until it reacts. And so you really just want to follow the charts, and that's so true. And you can see here, there are tons of people who jumped on short on the Citigroup, and we just kind of waited on the sidelines because you just never know. And what we saw here, the market just frankly doesn't care. The market could come out, you could come out tomorrow and say, every company's going, belly up and blah, blah, and it seems like the markets would just rally higher. And that's what's going on. And so looking at Citigroup here, you see, we gapped down here, and it was even lower pre-market, but it was gapped down, huge move up, and continual move up, and then we sold off a little into the close. And the same thing is going on with all these financial companies, whether it's Goldman Sachs. Look at the daily on Goldman Sachs. Ever since the low here, look at this rally. I mean, you're talking about Goldman Sachs back over $220. And the only thing here that I don't like with Goldman is the decreasing value of the decreasing volume right here. All right, that is a little worrisome. You see the heavy volume here on the selling off and continual life volume, but so far it hasn't mattered. And even the stochastics, look at the flat line of the stochastics. This is a dead signal that we're coming to a point where we're going to sell off, but it's just not happening. And at this point, we have to follow those put-call ratios, okay, guys? And the put-call ratio tells us how many puts in the market to how many calls. And what we notoriously find is that when there are more puts in the market has to go higher because they have to take the money away from the shorts. Puts are just another name for shorts, just a different style of short, really. And when there's more calls in the market, that's when we have to fall. And what we're seeing here, finally, just over the last few days, we're seeing the put-call ratio got underneath 1, which means there's more calls in the market, and we need it to come down to around 0.5. Around 0.5, you can start looking for a short entry, and we'll continue to follow that number. All right, but again, this is a contrarian play, a very accurate contrarian play using the put-call ratio. Okay, now what I want to go over, we'll go back to the ES chart here quickly, and I just want to show you the daily. Now here's where we closed today, and we saw after that Fed move right here, we saw a little consolidation, and then a slight tick up, and then today a bigger move up. And we're going to see where this goes. We're approaching the highs here, though we haven't reached it yet. Now on the other side, we look at the NASDAQ, and we've said over and over again how the NASDAQ's the stronger of the indexes, and that's purely portrayed here today with the massive move on the NASDAQ, up 40 points today. Not only that, but you see the NASDAQ actually taking off out the pre-highs before our major move down into August 16th. So here was the high before there. It was actually back here a little. It was in the range of 27.24. We took that out today, closing at 27.41. Now the question still remains, well, does this mean that we go long now? And the question is, well, on a technical level, that's a breakout, but we have to be careful here because on the borderlines of breakouts, there are often fools, okay? And what do I mean by that? Well, often the markets will tick over those highs before pulling back, and what they do is they purposely bring it over that double top area to get the amateurs to jump on long. Now, many times it is a real breakout, but there are other times where they tend to bring it over there, get all the amateurs to go bullish in the markets, and then sell the markets off. So now again, we're not saying that we're going to sell off big. We're still looking at major support around 1505 on the SPX, the S&P cash. So I want to make sure that we're clear on that, is that really you're looking for a sell-off maybe just down to this area here, which would not be a dramatic sell-off in any stretch. Now, whether or not we break that 1504 mark or not on the S&P is a different story. We continue to watch that level, but in near term, a healthy pullback here before we go higher would be this 1505 mark on the S&P. On the NASDAQ, that would probably coincide right around this 20 moving average, or maybe just a dip below slightly, but still above the 50 moving average. Okay? And overall, you can see how strong the NASDAQ's been. While the S&P kind of went down first and then tricked up, this just basically continued to climb. Just simple as that. And again, look at the stochastics, this flat line that's occurring. And you can just see how that's not a good thing. You need to pull back in the stochastics because it's showing, this is showing right here. Stochastics are basically lagging indicators, but they show you whether or not a market is overbought or underbought, and they show you positive and negative divergences. Well, really here we're just seeing if it's overbought or underbought. And here we're seeing it is overbought. It is flatlining now, though keep in mind we've seen situations where it stayed overbought for quite some time, and that's the question now. We are still possibly seeing a small pullback coming midweek like we talked about on Friday, and we'll have to monitor that. We tend to like the fact that it pushed up Monday here because it seems to set up for everyone to go bullish into possibly Wednesday or Thursday, a small pullback. All right, and we'll continue to follow that. Other technicals right here in the charts, guys, and I'm just going to go to trend tools here. We just want to continue to follow this line. This is one of the major lines here on the NASDAQ, and this again coincides with the 20 moving average here. The same line coincides on the S&P, the ES, as well as the S&P and the Dow. All right, and it seems like we're almost in a channel now, and I just want to point out this channel, possible channel, and could we be getting up towards the top here? That's possible. Notice this channel here, folks. We bounced off here, went up, down, touched here. Up, touched the top of the channel, bounced down, touched the down, bounced down again. We sold up, and now we're possibly hitting the higher end of this channel. Now, this could mean a gap up tomorrow when we hit that channel and we sell. So watch that channel, all right? You guys can draw these on your own maps, on your own channels, on your own charts, and follow it closely. But that is my general assessment. We're staying in this channel, in which case it would dictate that we top out up here, maybe on a gap up tomorrow, and then eventually over the next week or so we come down and hit the bottom of this channel. Okay? Lastly, I just want to talk a little day trading. Again, we keep on bringing these stocks up after the fact because we can't mention them in the videos because it's not fair to the paying subscribers. But LBIX was our play as of Friday. We bought Friday afternoon. We bought here at $2.56 in the chat room. A bunch of the chat subscribers played it with us, and we sold today at $2.91 for a 13% gain, and that's basically holding it for half a session of trading because we bought it in the late afternoon on Friday and we sold it early afternoon today, or about around noonish or so. So again, that's a solid play, and usually we just do these smaller stocks in the day trading chat room because we can talk about them a little more, and there is more risks involved, though the gains are much more substantial. So that's why we do these smaller stocks, and sometimes we'll hold small positions like this LBIX overnight, which we did. All right. Otherwise, the chat room was phenomenal again today, and I just want to point out here what we noticed today. JRJC. This is the mentality today, guys. JRJC ran again. China stocks running. JRJC was the only one really running this morning. Then all of a sudden we saw CPLSL break 815. That was right over here. Once this stock traded above here, we called it out in the chat room and said, buy, buy, buy. This is going higher, and look at the move you got. All right, you're talking about 20% move higher intraday. In addition, this triggered a major sell and a major buy in all the China stocks, which everyone in the room participated in. We picked up China stocks left and right, and I was very proud of everyone in the room for stepping out on that limb and doing it, because the gains were humongous. You got this move up here. All right, you got CYD. You got moves up here. You got CBAK. You got this move up here, and you guys see they're all coinciding, and people in the chat room just did that, and it was awesome, purely awesome.